Dr. Viet Trin stood up in a Columbus Council chamber and called Flock a dystopian violation of our rights. A professor to their faces. And he told them 120,000 of these plate scanners are already bolted up across America since 2017. Nobody voted for one. And watch what he says about pre-crime. And watch the president's answer. Quote, "We are all under investigation at all times for all crimes." That's Dr. Viet Trin in a public chamber telling elected officials what their own contract does to you. Every time you get in your car, you go to church, a gun show, rally, doctor's office, mapped. No warrant, no probable cause, and nobody asked you. And President Trump was asked about flock cameras on camera this week. I'm going to roll his exact answer. The one with a clock on it. And I'm going to show you the A16Z ownership stake that nobody in that chamber mentioned. See, Dr. Trin stood in that Columbus chamber for one reason. He understood the machine better than the people voting on it, and understanding the mechanism is how you fight back. Same principle with your body. When you're dragging and healing slow, the cause is cellular, your mitochondria, the batteries that power everything, running low. Red and near-infrared light therapy is one of the most well-researched tools out there. Studies show it helps cells produce more energy, reduces cellular level stress, and supports natural repair processes. I dug into the science alongside health journalist Jonathan Otto before I touched it. Red Life runs 9 clinically studied wavelengths with dual chip technology, twice the power of standard devices built to actually work. Go to myredlight.com/NNN, link in the description below. Use NNN Rep 25 for individual items, NNN Rep 30 for bundles. 30% off bundles, 25% off individual devices. Stock is limited. Now, back to the cameras that nobody voted for. Andreessen Horowitz holds roughly 15.5% of flock safety. Same firm that seeded Toka, an Israeli cyber intelligence outfit, back in 2018. That's who owns the map of where Americans drive. Now watch President Trump's answer, and watch what Trin says can never be fixed. President Trump was asked about flock cameras in the Oval. He says there's pros and cons, but his administration is studying it and will release their official views on it in the coming weeks. Let's go to the Oval Office now.
Please.
Are you
Policy
okay?
question, Mr. President?
Go ahead.
Under the there's a lot of debate right now about these license plate scanners that are going up across the country. They're called flock cameras. People are worried that the police might misuse them. Have you heard of them?
Yep.
Or what's your stance?
Well, it's being studied right now. You know, you have pros and cons, right? It's being studied right now. We'll have an answer sort of as to our views on it over the next couple of weeks.
Mr. President,
We will have our views on it in just a couple of weeks. Ohio State professor Dr. Viet Trin went to the Columbus Council and called flock a dystopian violation of our rights. Here's how he says it flips policing upside down.
It is my professional opinion that flock is a dystopian violation of our rights. And what I mean by that is that it inverts the very nature of how police are supposed to function. So in traditional investigations, a crime is supposed to happen first, and then detectives are supposed to identify a list of plausible suspects, and then those suspects are placed under investigation.
You can see how it's getting flipped, right? Crime first, suspects second. That's the old way. He says under flock, everybody in that room is under investigation every time they turn the key.
Under flock, we are all, everybody in this room, every day, every time we get into our cars, we are all under investigation at all times for all crimes. Then when a crime actually does occur, the police have a list of pre-investigated suspects. That's you, that's me, that's everybody in this room who gets in a car, that's everybody in this city. So today in Columbus, our constitutional rights, especially our Fourth Amendment rights.
Columbus is breaking the Fourth Amendment daily, he says, and that whole pitch about solving crimes, well, he says it's a misnomer.
Let me phrase this another way. Today I've heard a lot in these chambers about investigating crimes. I've heard that a lot. Flock lets us investigate crimes, Flock lets us prevent crimes. But it's my position that this is actually a misnomer. Despite what others have said here, Flock does not investigate crimes at all. It is not a tool for investigating crimes. And that misnomer has apparently bamboozled several people in this room. Flock is, at its very foundation, a tool for investigating pre-crimes.
Wow. We are officially in the dystopian future. Pre-crime, not crime. Now the part the council didn't want to hear, he says there's no guardrails, no safeguards, no regulation fixes this.
So others in this room have implied that we can reform Flock, we can have Flock and preserve our civil liberties. We can make this technology work for us. We just need to install more safeguards, we just need to install more protections, we just need guardrails that will prevent abusers from stalking their ex-girlfriends. Yet the very nature of this technology, that is, the technology as a tool for investigating pre-crime, categorically precludes that. This is not a technology that can be reformed or regulated or
managed. He's not done. He closes by telling the chamber they can never have Flock and civil liberties both. He tells them exactly what he saw in that room.
Managed. It is not a technology that can be made righteous. On this matter, we cannot and we can never have our cake and eat it too. To believe otherwise is hubris, and to be frank, I have seen a baffling amount of hubris in these chambers today.
Quote, this is not a technology that can be reformed or regulated or managed. It's not a technology that can be made righteous. That's what he said to the room full of council members who kept promising guardrails. And he called it hubris right to their faces. He's right, patriots. You can't bolt safeguards onto a machine built to treat 340 million innocent drivers as pre-investigated suspects. Ask your city council who signed the Flock contract. That's the demand. Who reads the data? How long do they keep it? And who else gets a login? Trin walked us into that Columbus chamber. Made him squirm. And one man with facts did more damage than 1,000 angry posts. You can do exactly that. Show up. Put it on the record. President Trump said his administration has views coming in a couple of weeks, so let's make sure that the con column is loud. Yes, documented and impossible to ignore. And share this with the people in your town who sit on that council and drop a name of your city in the comments so we can track where these cameras went up. And subscribe because we're staying on this one until we get an answer. You see, Trin got his 2 minutes in Columbus. We get ours from inside that building. Text White House to 844-840-4963. Next News Network drops reports pulled straight from the press pool onto your phone every night ahead of the crowd and past whatever YouTube decides to bury. And see, some of you read that and immediately want a job. Well, here's one. Simply text signal to that same number and you're enlisted in the Next News Signal Corps. Real missions, real ranks, and a command center where every patriot works off the same board. That's how a surveillance grid dies, so get in there tonight.